Welcome to Library Madness. Today's project involves growing crystals. The first thing you'll need to do is collect a few items from your house, and these are the things that you need. Ideally, you will get a Pyrex 2-cup glass measuring. We're going to be filling up to the 1-cup mark, and this is ideal. If you don't have this, you just need something that's safe for hot water that you can measure 1 cup. This is nice because it pours. So if you have one of these, that would be the best. Then you also need a spoon, a tablespoon, and possibly scissors. From your kit, you have coffee cups, you have the tongue depressors, you have borax, you have pipe cleaners, and string. Okay, so we're going to make sort of an abstract sculpture that we can grow crystals on. So for the first step, you're going to want to maybe take about 5 of your pipe cleaners out of the bag, and you're just going to sort of start bending them into sort of a circular shape. So you can kind of bend this one any way you want, and then you're going to want to attach the next one. So twist them together on the ends and then curve it around. You're sort of going for a sphere, a loose shape. You can kind of maneuver these a bit as you go, so you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You'll just keep adding pieces to that. A word of caution, you don't want to make it too big. So use the cup as your reference. This sphere or abstract sculpture that you're going to make out of your pipe cleaners needs to be able to fit inside this glass, and it cannot be touching the sides. It needs to go, this is a 12-ounce cup, and we're going to be filling it with 8 ounces of water. So it needs to be able to hang down a bit into the cup because this will need to be submerged. Can't touch the bottom or the sides. So the first thing you're going to do is create some type of abstract shape and test it. Maybe test it as you go so you don't have it completely built and you have to take it apart, but that's not a problem. You can just untwist it and retwist. Here's one that I did before I started the camera rolling, and you can kind of manipulate it. It's, you know, it'll move around a bit. So I'm going to test that, and mine does fit in there. It will fit pretty far down and it's not touching the sides. So once you have that figured out, then you're going to take a piece of string and you're going to tie the string onto just one of those pipe cleaners. You just want to use a little bit of that string so that it's attached, but then you can hold it up. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to attach it to the craft stick or tongue depressor. And again, you might need to trim your stick a little, but you'll want to test it because you're going to want the sides of the popsicle stick to rest over the lid of the cup like so. And you're going to want this to dangle down into the cup without touching the bottom. So when I put this in, this is way too long. I'm just going to trim it off a little bit, and I'm going to test it again. And about there looks good. You might need an adult to help you get this tied off just right. So once you tie it off, we're going to test it again because we don't want to put it in the liquid until we're sure that this works. So that looks pretty good. I don't think it's touching. I'm just gonna, so when I put it in like this, I thought, wow, it almost looks like it's touching the bottom. It's hard to tell. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna roll it like that, and that just shortens the string a little bit. I don't know, that might be a little too short. So I think I'm gonna go with my original one because I'm pretty sure, I'm just gonna squish this in a little bit, that it's not touching anything. Okay, so now you've tested that. So now you're ready to use your hot water. And this is also where you'll need an adult help. I boiled the water in my electric kettle. So an adult should do this part. They're gonna pour 1 cup. Okay, so I'm gonna put the 1 cup into my insulated coffee cup. I'm gonna pour that in. And then I'm going to use my borax. And to start with, you want 3. Don't, when you dip this in, make sure you don't get this wet. So I'm going to start with 3, and you want it to be not a heaping, but even. Okay, so you're going to do 1. So smooth it out inside your bag so it's not a bunch of it. 2, 3. And I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to mix it. I'm going to stir it around. My water is going to look a little cloudy. That's good. You're going to stir, stir, stir. And you actually kind of stir and get a little bit in your spoon and pull it up to the surface and kind of look. You actually want to be able to see some powder residue. If when you lift this up and you pour it in, you can't see any little bits of the powder, then you'll need to go ahead and add 1 extra tablespoon. Only 1, so no more than 4, but I think 3 should work. You just want to see a little bit of that residue. So now that looks pretty good to me, so now I'm ready to lower this in. So we're going to lower that in. And it should be completely submerged in your liquid, and then you want to wait. And this is where it's important to put this in a safe spot. Just leave it overnight. You might actually see some crystals starting to grow in a few hours, but if you bump and jar your container, they can fall off rather easily. So go ahead and set this aside in a safe spot on the back of the counter or something where you won't bump it or knock it over, okay? So that's what I did. I left mine overnight, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here's one that I made. I'm going to hold it close to the candle so you can see all those crystals that formed on my abstract sculpture that I made. And it is a little bit delicate. If you knock this really hard, those crystals can fall off. This actually would make kind of a pretty ornament if you wanted to do that. Or you could just cut off. It's kind of cool. If you're very careful with it, I think you could cut the string off and then get just like a small little piece of colored paper, and you could almost just mount it on there as a decoration. It does look really cool. So you can just have fun with that. I gave you enough ingredients so that you could do 2. If you really like this project, this is just borax, and you can find that at Walmart. So if you have a lot of fun with this, just get some more pipe cleaners and you can make all kinds of shapes. If you want to experiment with making something really big, if you have extra ones of these at home, you can see this is a lot wider, so you could experiment with making, I've seen people make snowflakes or leaves, or you could make something even bigger. You just need to remember your ratio is 3 tablespoons of the borax to 1 cup of your hot water. So as you increase, if you're just doubling, that's pretty easy. If it's a 2 cup, you'll need 6. But you could have an adult help you with the ratio if you're going for a little bit in between that. So borax, 3 tablespoons to 1 cup of the hot water. Another thing I will say is if it didn't work for some reason, and mine, the one I tested, I did just like I showed you. If it doesn't work for some reason, you don't have to throw away your abstract pipe cleaner creation. You can just use that and redo. So probably either it got bumped or you didn't have enough borax in there. You always want to see a little bit of it. It is actually easier to see in the bottom of glass because obviously you can see into it to see that there is a little bit of the residue settling on the bottom and everything didn't dissolve. If you're worried, just go ahead and add the extra tablespoon. Then it'll be a sure thing. 4 tablespoons of the borax with the 1 cup of water. You actually will probably see even crystals forming in the bottom of your coffee cup if you do that. So I hope you have a great time with this project. Have fun. Thank you.